I want you to think about a challenge that you faced in working for your leader. And I want you to think about, have you shared that challenge with your leader? What I mean by that is not the, well, Nicole, I've alluded to it, or I may have mentioned it, or shouldn't they know? Have you really shared it with them? As leaders, we're faced with challenges every single day. And for us to expect transformation, we have to be transformational ourselves. And to be transformational ourselves, we have to be willing to uncover the truth. There are two types of truths. The first one is a comfortable truth, like the sky is blue. The next one is an uncomfortable truth, which could be you're doing a bad job. Most people think of uncomfortable truths as the classic Jack Nicholson, you can't handle the truth. Uncomfortable truths are difficult to share and they're difficult to hear. But done with bravery and grace can be powerful for us. I'm going to share 3 uncomfortable truths with you that I've learned along the way, something that our people might be afraid to share with us. The first one is, you aren't here for me right now. We say that this one-on-one or this meeting or this retreat is the most important thing right now. Yet we're constantly distracted. I'm guilty of it as well, with that instant message, that ping, that text message, that call. Oh, hold on just a minute, I have to take care of it. And we're not really right here and right now. I had the opportunity to facilitate a session between GE Aviation and British Airways. So GE Aviation makes the engines for British Airways planes. Their negotiations had stalled, and I was invited in to help facilitate a session. It was the most important meeting. So important that we flew people from all over the world into Crotonville, New York, GE's Leadership Institute. The morning is underway, and the head of sales for GE Aviation has stepped out most of the morning. We're a couple hours into it. And I'm beginning to uncover what some of the challenges that they've been facing inside the relationship. And I go to that salesperson's team and I'm like, listen, where is he? Like, I need him back in here. We're making movement. Can you please go find him? And what returned back to me was a look of horror and terror. No way. He's busy taking care of what he needs to take care of. Okay, fine. I'll go have a conversation. I went out. He was just responding to voicemails. There wasn't anything urgent going on. And I said, the team and I need you right here, right now. We're making movement, but I can't do it without you in this room. And he took a deep breath and he said, I'm in. I can do this. And we went back into the room, and had he not been there, we wouldn't have been able to transform that relationship that afternoon. Being there right here, right now is important. It takes bravery plus leadership. So often we lean into our leadership skills, but it takes bravery, again, to hear the uncomfortable truth that British Airways was about to share with them about the relationship. The second one is, you didn't take time to prepare, like at all. We think we're good at off the cuff, but we're not. My unvalidated data would say that maybe 1% of us can do it, which would only be about 2 people in this room, and I'm not one of them. In fact, we're 19% less confident when we speak off the cuff, when we haven't practiced and prepared. It's difficult to inspire and engage when we haven't prepared or practiced. So I'm going to share the story of 2 leaders. We're getting ready to launch a really important leadership program. We've invited 2 leaders from the company to share and help us launch this. The first one walks in 15 minutes before the session and shares with everyone. Hey, how are you doing? Greeting, how are you doing? And says, I've got to find a space. I haven't spent time preparing. I've got to script what I'm going to say. I'll be back. I've got to find some quiet space. The second leader walks in with a box. And inside that box, he quietly sat down 2 items at each table. One was a can of WD-40, the other one was a box of Pop-Tarts, and began to share with everybody the story of two companies. One company that dug its heels in, the other company that was breeding fanatic learners to inspire these leaders to go further. We can't afford to not be prepared. We have to find our voice and be prepared. The third uncomfortable truth: you don't have to be the expert all of the time. Oftentimes we feel we do. I worked for a leader early on in my executive career, so I'm up at the early vice president level, who said, "Nicole, my job is to come up with all of the ideas. Your job is to write them down." Anybody that knows me knows I like to come up with the ideas too. I didn't learn and grow very much underneath that leader. It was tough. Another leader I worked for said to me, "Nicole, I need you to go find curious chewers with hustle. I don't want them to be the expert. I want them to figure out, to drive innovation in our company, I need them to ask powerful questions, chew on it, and then be ready to go. And as a part of the leadership team, we can't be the experts. We have to breed this culture." Now, he wasn't going to let us completely off the hook. He said, "I want you to have friends in technical places." A little ode to Garth Brooks. We have to be curious and ask at least one question instead of trying to be the expert all the time. So the culture we create is from the moves we make as leaders. It's a challenge I face every day. People are watching, right? So I want to leave you real quick with 3 things to think about. The first is, tell stories of uncomfortable truths. It gives your team permission to share stories of uncomfortable truths. Again, delivered with bravery and grace. The next one is, I want you to be able to say to your teams, if you are seeing something I am not, will you tell me? You're giving them permission to share an uncomfortable truth. And the final one is, this is up to your leader. If I'm seeing something you may not be, what's the best way for me to share that with you? To set the stage to share uncomfortable truths up. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.